All right, let's get into this today. Sometimes even a simple topic or image or idea comes to me to use as the foundation or the title for an episode. And sometimes it's reference to maybe a book or a movie or a show that might be totally unrelated to, on the surface, this idea about resilience. But somehow those words or that sentence generates the idea and the content and the context for another 820 episode, like this one called MarginCalls. I believe there's like a movie out there or a show by that name, MarginCalls. I know it's something that happens in stock trading and in the stock exchange when you're trading or day trading or long trading. Sometimes that thing will come up in your realm of trading called margin calls. But anyway, that's just an intro to discussion today. You know what time it is. Yes, it's time for margin calls, but it's 8:20, which means now and in this present and precious moment we have together, I endeavor to deliver to you on a daily basis the purpose and message of each 820 podcast. And I want to illustrate and maybe demonstrate to you how much we have in common, even from my voice to your ear. And I think that conversation that we're having in distance is a necessity for me to emphasize that in terms of resilience. But perhaps many of us have not chosen to define that quality and grace given to us to sustain, to maintain, and to share. No, typically we tend to avoid or outrightly ignore the center of our very selves and the very or near core competency and center value of everyone and everything around us. We sometimes and usually would intend to choose to run to the sides, to the margins, away from the core stuff. We could hide there. No one would notice us on the sidelines or under the bleachers or in the cheap seats behind a pillar. You see, that way we have attended the gala and the hoopla and the drama scene, but we weren't really in the meeting or gathering or the recorded environment and situation. Yeah, that's the story we tell ourselves and further distance ourselves from ourselves. Meaning that unique purpose and message and inherent guidance given and graced to us at birth and since birth to date, we have stepped away from that. But when you recognize that statement I just made to you, we tell ourselves that story about I'm there, but I'm not there. I'm in, but I'm out. Meaning most of us just won't do that introspective work consistently. Let's be honest. We don't do that. It feels too hard. It feels too reflective. It feels almost like an accusation of us not doing what we were brought here to do. And we do that hiding on the sidelines, in the margins, away from that core that really is that question that I asked you before about what drives you. That's really what I'm asking you to look into. But no, we will step away from that into the margins and not do that until our cards get called. Until we come across that show and tell time. Some want and beg to wait for that proverbial judgment day, way in the future, right? That final dirt on the face and crushed into the earn event. That date, that thing in the end. And then when that happens, we have convinced ourselves that we then got to finally answer to who brought us into and through the dance. The drama we produce outside of our core and center being and competency, outside of our calling, outside of our service, to express and expose the talents given to us. We chose to not address those. But now, when that date comes, that judgment day, that final date with our Creator, now we have to give that up for Lent or beyond Lent. We think to maybe buy some time, we give something up, buying some more time as like a compensation or a compromise. We decide to go to the sides of an issue, to the side of a challenge, and away from the choice and the consequence. We chose to leave that dirty work or that introspective work to experts. You're looking to get that guidance from the experts of you? That's not really a great or reasonably best choice you could make right now. Again, forgive me. What came in my head just now was another music reference. That song from Steely Dan, Do It Again. One part of that classic tune by Steely Dan is like this. In the land of milk and honey, you got to put your cards on the table. That's pretty poignant about what I'm trying to say today. Yes, at that reckoning moment at the casino, and also as a connection to this moment today, right now in this moment, I'm calling in your exposed and unsubstantiated margins of reliance and trust and wish and speculation. I'm asking you to change your perspective on this present moment. To turn in your hold cards. Put them all on the table in truth and in courage. Your quote-unquote cards. What I ask you is to define for yourself what drives you. Define your discipline. Define your organic desire that supports and presents and produces what you're brought here to do. I'm asking you to stay out of the margins. I am calling them all in now, into the center of your attention and awareness for decision and action, to where you started to exist and resonate and to vibrate from the heart and blood and love of your Creator, of your higher power, however you chose to define that you have responsibility and accountability to represent, and to then to reproduce in that likeness, image, power, and force. Not from outside or from the margins. No, only and always from within you. Stay present. Stay current. No matter where you are in this world, remember, tell a friend, tell a foe, tell a total stranger, hey, it's always 820.